What is going on, everybody? So as you can see, there is no hammock, and that is because it is getting cold as shit, and there will be no more days left in the year for chilling out in the hammock. I know, it's kind of sad. I miss it. But I think this is a pretty cozy spot too. I mean, when I'm relaxing and chilling in here, I've been sitting watching football a lot today. Also doing some of my honey-do list, which you know how that goes if you're married. But yeah, this is nice. This is no hammock, but for what it is, I think it'll work. Hopefully you guys can dig it. It's a place where we can chill and have a conversation about the Amico. And my God, what a freaking week it has been. Oh, I need to get a sip of some Dr. Pepper for this. Just when you think there's nothing to talk about, it's like the Amico, the television, it's like they just find a new way to fuck up. And it's the story is so bizarre. I was watching Gen X Gamer was talking about how it'll make a great documentary if somebody ever does. Apparently, the Amico, there's more views on the Amico than for the Google Stadia, which that's pretty impressive because it's freaking Google, and this in television gets more views. Now, whether that's a good thing for them or not, I don't know, because a lot of the views are for negative reasons. But I guess they say any press is good press. Another interesting thing I was listening to right before I started, there's a podcast. God, I can't remember the name of who they were. I'll say it right here when I go back and edit. But it's pretty interesting. They were talking about the Amico All Access podcast. And from what I've heard so far, I've only listened about the first 10 or 15 minutes. That Vito guy was on there, the one that's been on Tony's live stream, who I had no idea who the fuck he was until I went onto that live stream. But he was on there, and it doesn't sound like they have a lot of nice things to say about the cult, as you will. And before we get into this, unlike in Television Amico, I will admit when we have a stolen asset right here, this is not, just so you know, this is not real. I don't want anyone to dig into it and be like, he's using a fake. The one we have, this was a fireplace that we built because we felt like this is a large room. You can probably hear the echo. This is our living room. We have a pretty big house. It's a 5-bedroom house, and this is just like the downstairs living room. It's a big room, and it needed a fireplace. So, and as you can already see too, my wife loves Christmas. She's already decorated the fireplace. This was one reason why we wanted it, so that we could hang stockings, and the room just felt like it needed it. She's already decorated the Christmas tree. She loves to decorate. She decorates for every season, literally every season, even Valentine's Day, Easter, and St. Patrick's Day. Like something she likes to do. But the one that we have in here, so there's no chimney, so we can't have like a real fireplace or anything. The one that we actually have in there makes noise, and it's kind of shitty. I need to replace it. I don't know why we ended up getting it. I think we got a pretty good deal on it, and we didn't test it, and we put it in. We're kind of like, ugh. So I think this makes a lot better for the ambience. I'll sit here. But speaking of stolen assets, I'm sure by now all of you have heard about what Intellivision did with their Battle Tanks game. You know how they were talking about, they were saying for a long time that they were going to do deep dives into these games. And of course, it's a good thing. I mean, it's a good fucking thing. I wanted to see, for everyone too, like people that are actually interested in the system, let's get some positive things going, like instead of all just the stupid crap that comes along with Intellivision and, doing the little, here and there pop-up events that people really can't go to, like they did one in Boston, but gave people a couple days notice, 3 days notice, I think this time, which is a new record. But if you don't live, I live like 8 hours from Boston, so there's no way in fuck I'm driving there. But this way, with this deep dive, we can begin to show what the Amico can do. Which if you're going to sell a video game console, you know, especially if you're trying to get investors still on board, it's a good thing, I think, to try to show off what your system can do. And they actually voted on which game, they asked the fans which game they wanted to see a deep dive on. And unfortunately for Intellivision, it was Battle Tanks. Where this would have been good for any other company, it was a shit show for Intellivision. My God, instantly. So we'll just kind of get into it here a little bit. So I happened to be checking YouTube. I was on it and it popped up. I was one of the first ones to see the Intellivision Battle Tanks deep dive, which is not even called fucking Battle Tanks anymore. But I was watching the show, and of course, it was Tommy and John Alvarado sitting there, which poor John Alvarado, which I heard, who's the DVD Fever or something calls him John Avocado. It's kind of funny. But that poor guy, man, he's just seems like a regular dude, and he has been pulled down into this bullshit with Tommy. I don't even know. He could quit, I guess, but you know, he's not going to at this point. I guess they're going to see this fucker through the end. But the video pops up, and I'm watching it. I even commented, before I even really watched the video, I left a comment saying that, which I don't even know if it was, I might be blocked from them because I don't think the comment was shown because nobody reacted to it or anything. But I said, hey, this is a good thing. This is good for your fans. Finally, you guys are listening. But then I kept watching the video, and before we get into all the controversy, I'm just going to give my opinions of it. It was underwhelming, to say the least. I have played better tank games. For example, we don't so much anymore, but when my son was a little bit younger, we played a lot of Roblox, which it's a free-to-play game, and it's got a lot of different games on it. It's a lot of, you can play cooperatively as well. You can do, like, it'll do split screen if you play on, which we played on his Xbox. But I had my own Xbox too, so we were able to just play online, but you can play together. At least I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. I'll have to check into that just to double check. I don't want to say fake shit. But there's a tank game on Roblox, and it's actually a lot of fun. I think you can have 4 players on each team, and they've got different game modes. Like they have like a score attack where you are just see how many kills you can get. They have like a capture the flag mode. Then they have a game mode where it's like you have to, what is it? It's like they have that game mode in Call of Duty where you have to capture zones. There's like 3 or 4 different zones, and you're trying to capture them. Usually there's like one on your side and then one towards the middle. It's a fun game, and the cool thing about that game is, and it's neat, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's almost like they're supposed to be toy tanks. You play in one level is like in a sandbox. I think one of them's like a backyard or something. And there's two zones. Like you have the team that starts at the top, and there's actually like a home base that you can hide in and not get shot. And then the other team starts down at the bottom. And the screen actually scrolls. Like it's not just one screen, so there's a lot of room, and you can move pretty fast, and the tanks are pretty accurate. And the thing that I noticed instantly about battle tanks was that it's only one screen. I know that they're trying to capture like the original games, well, like Combat for the Atari, which that was a fun game. I spent a lot of time playing that. Me and my brother, one versus one, and me and my dad. Um, but I don't know. It kind of looked it kind of looked cheap now. Just having that, like not having multiple screens that you can scroll through. I don't know why I keep touching my hat. I'm just like I don't know. I guess like it's. I feel kind of weird sitting here in the recliner talking. I got to get used to this. Like I got comfortable sitting in the hammock. But just the fact that it's one screen and the tanks moved sluggish. They moved incredibly slow. Like for example, I downloaded a tank game, which I'll talk about it later. I got the name written down because I got my boomer notes. I'll read through it, and it moved really fast. It was just a mobile game, a free to play mobile game, and you could move really fast, and it was kind of fun. And this just battle tanks just looked slow, and the fact that it's the one screen and the backgrounds didn't even look that good. It was just kind of brown and like a couple of rocks. Like you couldn't really interact with the environment. The rocks just stayed there. You couldn't blow them up or anything, which I think that would have been more fun. Like if you could have actually blown up walls or something. Like it could have been some strategy there. This game didn't look good compared to a lot of other similar games that I have seen. It was underwhelming. I wasn't impressed, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. Because I'm trying to look at this thing. I've always said, like Moon Patrol. I thought Moon Patrol when I played it on the mobile game on my phone, which you can get off the Intellivision app. It's a decent game. It's not bad, but Moon Patrol itself is a fun game. So it's really hard to fuck up that type of game where you're driving a car, jumping and shooting shit. But it would be fucked up trying to play it with the Amico controller, which we'll get into that later too. Talk about the controller. But yeah, it wasn't really anything that great. But then you go and you watch all of the cult members. Of course, they're going on and on about how great it looks and everything. I mean, it's so. I don't know. Can you not just at one time, like I can sit here and say that Moon Patrol is fun, but I don't see how you could sit here and say that Battle Tanks looks good. I will say, when I get to it, I'm gonna challenge y'all to download this one game and play it, and tell me that it doesn't look a lot better because it's got screens that you can scroll through, and I don't know if you could do it would be kind of tough to probably do like scrolling screens. I guess especially if you're doing like an attack mode, like against each other, sure, that could be like a lot, like on one screen. But I would have liked to have seen the one player mode or whatever have more variety to it, where you can actually move around. Because what I saw, it doesn't have any of that. You're just always on one screen, and what it had only 18 levels or something that you could do. Like that's nothing. Like you could beat 18 levels in less than an hour, and then you beat the game, and there's nothing else to do. It didn't look that great to me, and it didn't look like it was a type of game that you would have on a modern console. Even if the Amico was not trying to be something great, it still just looked shitty, to be honest with you. It was very underwhelming. But then on top of that, not only did the game look kind of crap, within an hour, a video popped up on YouTube. And again, because I'd gotten home from work, and I was up kind of a little bit. I was just lying in bed. My wife was, or when did I see the Intellivision video? I don't know. Maybe it was maybe these videos were coming out when I was like on my break or my lunch break or something at work. I just happened to be on on YouTube because I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube. I just happened to see. And I was one of the first ones to see this Goose video pop up too, just because I have him on the bell click for notifications, because that dude always comes up with good shit about the Amico. And lo and behold, it turns out apparently that in this Battle Tanks game, Intellivision, whoever made these games for them, used stolen assets and stolen artwork from other games. And when I was watching that, it was very surreal watching that video. I just like, I can't believe it. Like they can't fucking do anything right. They can't even do a deep dive of their video games right. When this was something that people have been begging for. I mean, the first one, they fucked it up. And it was just watching it, where he showed like the artwork. It's like he showed the artwork, and it was good how he did it, because he kind of like overlaid the artwork, the original artwork on top of Intellivision stuff, and it lined up perfectly. Like they did maybe a little bit of photoshopping, like something that my son would do, who's in middle school, like the kind of quality that he could do, which, like, what did they think nobody would notice? And that's the whole thing. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit, but I'm gonna talk about what it was. So I had it written down. Like the title screen is the tank on the left, and some of the other screen was a tank from a game called War Thunder, or the tank. I don't know. It's like the smaller tank in the background. Maybe it was a tank on the left. That tank was like a direct ripoff from this game, War Thunder. The tank on the right was, I think, from a different game, because he released Goose released a second video, and it showed that image of that tank. I don't know what game that came from. So it's like they just were like piecing together tanks and assets from different games. So yeah, it's fucking terrible. I just feel sick. Just, it's hilarious and insane at the same time, but it just makes you feel sick almost, to like, oh my god, they are so fucking incompetent. Do I even want to sit down and bother talking about this, because it's just so bad? Like at some point you almost you feel bad for them. You almost kind of want to root for them, like root for the people that are working for it. Like, come on, get a fucking victory, at least something. But God, you guys are just taking fucking L's over and over and over again. My God. So then it continues. It's not just that title screen. There's other. They showed other little tanks, and some of them were from these sites that you can look and get, like, that people create little, I don't know, it's almost like clip art, if you remember that. But like people, like, you can go on the website and search images, and there's all these images that people make, and they're not available for commercial use, or maybe some of them are sold, but some of them say they're not. And they were using those too, like in the screens that would show the type of tank that they were, because that was the one thing that I was noticing. Like, the artwork was decent, but the gameplay was so shit. Like, that was the one thing that I was going to give them credit for. Like, well, it doesn't look bad, like the artwork at least, but then it fucking turns out they stole all of it. Even though the menu screens didn't look like the best of quality, but like I said, the artwork wasn't bad, because it was from better fucking game companies. But one of the smoking guns of them stealing the artwork was, they stole one of the tanks. Came from the game, what was it, from World of Tanks. And there's this one tank that, if you look at the barrel, it says Fury on it, Fury, Fury. That was from a special tank, a Fury tank that you could get in that game, World of Tanks. It was like a tie-in with the movie that Brad Pitt made. I remember seeing that movie. It's a pretty decent movie, and it was called Fury. Like, they were a tank. I think he was a tank commander, if I'm thinking of the same one. And so they had a tie-in of it. You know, it's a cool tie-in. But they left the Amico. They were so incompetent that they literally left the word Fury on the tank. Like, they could have easily blocked that out. It just shows you, like, how fucking amateurish this whole fucking setup is. Then somebody else, all these people, all these super sleuths, you know, that it's so great. Like, I'm so privileged and lucky to be able to have all you guys out there that just dig this shit up. I can literally just lay back in my hammock or my recliner and talk about all the fucking work that y'all are doing. I mean, people just instantly found this shit. And it's it's funny. It's everybody. Y'all are doing great work, just holding them accountable because it's unacceptable. It's unfucking acceptable to just take artwork like this. It's such a shady practice. Like I imagine some companies do it. Maybe they get away with it because they are so small and nobody would notice. But my God, the Amico is under a fucking microscope. It's getting more attention than Google Stadia. So, and you think you can pass this shit off and no one's gonna fucking notice? Like, Jesus Christ, you guys. But yeah, so the somebody else then found out that they literally used the exact same font on the title screen for the word battle tanks. It was taken from another game called Tank Battle Heroes. That is the game that I downloaded. It's called Tank Battle Heroes. It's a free download on your phone. Play that game and tell me that it doesn't look and play a lot better. It's not sluggish like the Amico game. It's actually kind of fun, and the controls are real intuitive, and you don't have all these stupid extra driving modes. Which one thing I noticed too in the video that noticed to me when I think it was the last mode where I don't know if you used the turret or you drove on the touchscreen. There literally is no button. There's no picture or anything showing. Like they could add a circle that at least I saw. You just drug your thumb on the touchscreen over top of other buttons that you could use to do stuff. Like at least that's how it looked to me. I don't know. It just seemed really weird. Like Tommy was sliding his finger over back and forth across the screen, and there was literally nothing there to indicate that you were touching a button. And it just to me looked stupid. Of course, I guess I am fucking biased, but I just thought I don't know. That could be a nitpick, but to me, I thought it was fucking stupid. So yeah, they literally the same exact font, and then anyways, so this is when the weird shit started happening. The video that they released, the deep dive, they kept fucking taking it down and putting it back up, taking it down and putting it back up. At first, it was just unlisted because you could still reach it through a link. It wasn't listed on their channel, but you could still get to it. They ended up putting it back up again, and then they took it down for private, and then it's back up again now.
Future me here, still trying to get this fucking video uploaded to YouTube. God! Anyways, apparently, new shit has come to light, man, and it looks like Tommy, they took the video down again, and then re-uploaded it without all the stolen artwork. What a fucking mess. Just thought I needed to include that. Okay, back to the video.
It was 2 or 3 or 4 fucking different times they took it down. And each time, the time he took it down, they came back and they changed the name to Tank Battle. Now, I have a theory that the reason, well, hold on, let me read this next part and I'll say my theory. So Tommy claimed, the word got out real quick that there was this stolen art shit. And he had to have known, he had to have seen. Nobody else is talking about it. I don't see any of the cult members talking about it because why would they? Because it's such a fuck up that it would just make everybody look bad. Anybody that supports this system, you have to ask yourself, why the fuck am I supporting this if they can't even be straightforward about the game? Like what? Well, let me read this. So Tommy comes out with a statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he claims that the original video said that when you look at the description, when you can click down, that it says it's a work in progress. The footage shown does not represent final materials. The graphics and features are subject to change. When I read that, I instantly thought that did it really fucking say that? Because I know I didn't. I was so quick to click on it. I didn't read. I don't usually read descriptions, anyways. So I was so quick to click on it that to watch the video. Oh, fucking deep dive of a game. Yes, let's see this. that I didn't bother. I don't think anybody really bothered it. So I thought instantly, like, did he really actually fucking say that? I don't even have to do the work. A fucking super sleuth used the Bing cache or cache. I don't know how you say that. CACHE is a cache, and they said that they could look back. So basically, I guess that you could look back and see what the original thing was. What is that? Isn't that like something which like stores your pages of things that you've looked at? And in the description, of course, it did not fucking say that. Did not fucking say that at all. And apparently they had a trademark symbol on the battle tank's name too. So Tommy trying to lie his fucking way out of it. And I tell you what, like, I honestly think, I have a theory that this tank battle thing, like, he changed the fucking name as a distraction. And I could be wrong. I don't know. There could be a reason. I haven't looked too deep into it, but like, is that like, was that his reason to say that that's why they pulled it down? Like, oh, we're going to go with tank battle. We're going to go with the name. When in reality, they pulled it down just so that they could say that it was a work in progress because they fucking realized that these games had stolen shit in it. And that's the thing. There's another theory that I've read somewhere in a comment section or something. Somebody said that the games that are being worked on for the Amico are being done by German students. Okay, which the Amico has a connection with Germany because their government is like funding a lot of their games, which is fucking weird. It's really fucking weird that's what's going on. I mean, I don't know if that's common or not, but there's a theory that people saying that these German students are doing the games, and so they can do it cheap. And I try not to say as much. I fucking said it again. But I'm not lying here. I'm telling you. I say it sometimes because I'm trying to think of the next word I'm going to say. But it makes sense that it would be just some kids that got paid cheaply. And somebody else said too that it's not something that they're keeping them on a retainer. They would have probably paid them up front when they got all that original investor money. So they just turned the games out real quick and got them out. And what would you do in a situation where you were trying to create a game as quickly and cheaply as possible? Steal a bunch of fucking artwork and do a really shitty job photoshopping them in and chopping them up and using different pieces? I mean, wouldn't that make sense? It certainly would not be done by a reputable developer. It would be done by somebody who is trying to get shit done on the cheap. And I was thinking about it. I'm sure all of you guys are aware of Action 52, the game. Just for some of you who may randomly not be, that aren't as nerdy as the rest of us that know what it is, it was a game that was created for the Nintendo. Basically, almost kind of like a fucking scam. You paid $200 or some outrageous amount for it, and it had 52 games on it, and it was trying to say that, ooh, the games are only $4 a piece when you add it up. But when you actually started playing the games, when you got them home, the games were all absolute dog shit because they were done by amateurs, like students and shit, because they could pay them really cheap. And they created a bunch of space shooters and stuff. And I started thinking, like, the Amico is literally the fucking Action 52 console. Because it's got all these, like, because that's how they're trying to do it. They're trying to say that the games are, you pay all this money up front, like $250, and then you get to buy all these cheap games. The games are going to be super cheap, so there's all this value. But the games themselves are shit. They're shit quality because they're being made by fucking morons. And maybe a game like Moon Patrol to like trick you. Like, they had a couple of good games at first, which the Action 52 didn't have any good games. Like, they tried to fucking sell Cheetahman. That one game is like being their their major game, which that guy was weird too. If you're not aware of that, you need to go check that story out, because the guy himself like had these just, he was delusional like Tommy. Like he thought he was going to be able to come in, and he for the Cheetah Men, the one game, they were going to be like these cheetahs that were supposed to be like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were going to market them and have like toys and all this merchandise for it, and it was going to be this next big thing. Like you have this idea, but you don't have any way of going about it competently to deliver a good product. And that's like what Tommy is. Like he doesn't know they don't know what the fuck they're doing. He has an idea, this grand idea that is going to be this big thing, but yet in trying to deliver it, it's just shit. But you think about it, it's like, so the games, yeah, you've got all these games, but look at what are the type of games that they are. There's like all these fucking shooters and shit, because they're easy to make games. And then you have your one Finnegan Fox, which is supposed to be like your big platformer, like the fucking Cheetah Men game is. But it's like, you look at a game like Battle Tanks, and it's just bad. It's not good at all. It's not worth the $10. It's just going to be probably a $10 game, I would guess. Maybe not. Maybe that's a $6 or $7 game. But even then, like this other game that I got, the Tank Battle Heroes, is free on fucking your mobile device. Roblox has a free fucking tank game, and it's way fucking better. So, I don't know, man. Like, it's beyond, at this point, just kind of a bizarre story where it's literally like, that to me, and it has definitely crossed into the scam fucking territory, because you're promising and saying like how all these games are going to be 7 out of 10s, they're going to be high quality, great games. But you turn around and you try to release a game that was obviously created by fucking idiots that don't know what they're doing, that have no problem just stealing artwork. Because if you're stealing artwork, you're obviously not getting paid a lot to do the game. They're not paying these people well, because you don't give a shit. I'm going to give them what they fucking paid for. Garbage, basically. Like, what is it, the lowest, literally, like, in television go out for the lowest fucking bidder? And I hate saying that the Intellivision is a scam, and I don't mean that it's a scam in the fact that it won't come out, because they are making shit. It's going to come out. The scam aspect is the fact that they're promising you high quality shit, but obviously it's just shit. It's just trash. That's the whole fucking scam aspect of it. Like, just like Action 52. Like, I can't not think about the Amico now without thinking of Action 52, because just thinking that this Battle Tanks game being produced potentially by German students, which was exactly what Action 52 did, getting the lowest possible quality of people to do your fucking game for you. And it looks like it too. I mean, the game is just, it's ugly. The background, the one that they was brown, looked like just someone puked on it, or fucking diarrhea, you're driving around on it. It's not an attractive game, but that's been the whole fucking story. And it would have been a good story, but it was just that cherry on the top with Tommy coming out and saying that they had put that in the description, and then somebody was able to instantly say that, no, you fucking didn't, dude, you lied. You guys literally got this game however cheaply as you did. And you can even see, like, it shows that Tommy and John played it only for a couple minutes. Like, nobody tested this shit out. You got it, and you just like, let's deep dive it. You didn't even fucking bother to check to see that shit was stolen. But you guys are just so naive and gullible that you wouldn't think that somebody would do that to you. When now I hope you guys going forward would know you've learned your lesson. And that's the thing. And I saw somebody else post this, like, why the fuck, Tommy, did you not just come out and say, guys, look, we fucked up on this one. This is a game that, it's not been completed for that long, but he wants to say that they've been completed forever. Instead of just coming out and saying, listen, we fucked up. These people that we used to do this game, we weren't aware, but apparently they took some assets from other games, and we're going to do everything in our power to fix it. This is not indicative of what we are going to give you. This is not the way Intellivision does business. No, Tommy has to double down on the lie about the fact that they said that shit was going to change. He says, what did it say? It's a work in progress. Footage shown does not represent final materials. Graphics and features subject to change. And you watch the fucking video, in no way did him and John come out and present it as though this isn't the fucking final game. He was so proud of it. He was talking, and Tommy just rambles and rambles and rambles. And yes, Ramblin' Man, I'm using your word ramble. Go watch Ramblin' Man. There you go. I used your plugged you so I can use your saying. But yeah, well, Ramblin' Man did have a great video, by the way. Go check it out. His latest one was he said on the duck pond. The ducks were going fucking nuts, like they were on meth. It was a good video, so go check that out. But why couldn't they just say that this we fucked up? Why do they have to just double down on the lie and make it that much worse? I mean, you're just digging a fucking hole. And the Relic Gamer, of course, massive douche Relic Gamer, was in the comments section of Goose saying, "Oh, he paid for it. Tommy fucking paid for it." So you obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Relic Gamer, because Tommy obviously came out and said that he didn't say they paid for it. They said they were going to they could change at any time. And you cannot fucking say that Tommy bought the rights for that Fury tank, which was a tie-in for a Hollywood movie. They don't have that kind of fucking money to fucking get that tank. Like, I'm sorry. But you're a dumbass, Relic Gamer. Oh, and while I'm thinking about people, there's this fucking moron that's been coming around my comment section. I banned it. His name is Blitzkrieg. And I kind of have an idea who I think he is, but I'm not for certain. But he was posting comments in that Goose video saying that I guess he's been going back and looking at my fucking videos, my previous videos, which is like, okay, whatever. I got into an argument with him in Turbo Joe's comment section, and ever since then he's just been a fucking pest. So like, I just blocked him. But he was saying that, oh, Dave's Gaming has a television. He's going to buy the Amico day one, which actually kind of made me chuckle when he said I'm going to buy an Amico day one. But you dumb fuck, if you go back and look, I literally live streamed playing the Intellivision and talking about it, saying I like the Intellivision, and the fact that my biggest concern with this is that they are ruining the name Intellivision, a fucking staple of retro gaming. You had Intellivision, Atari, ColecoVision, like those were the three. An Odyssey, Magnavox Odyssey, the four, I guess. So yeah, I fucking like Intellivision. I collect old games. I like that shit. So that's a fucking pathetic burn. And this is the only time I'm going to address this dumbass. So if you see this guy talking shit about me in other comments, I'm not even going to fucking respond to him because he's so stupid and pathetic. Like, that's your big scoop that, oh, he's got an Intellivision. Yeah, I fucking played it for everyone to see, so you're dumb. But that's the last time you get to be mentioned, dude, so go away. But yeah, it's just, this whole thing is just a complete fuck up, isn't it? I mean, it's so bad. So pathetic. Then, on top of that, we could have done a whole other video, which I was planning on doing, but this other story was developing, so I wanted to wait, which, you know, I got the day off, so it's a great day to do it anyways. It's been a great day anyways, just sitting around watching football. And I'm going to be watching the football game tonight. The Steelers and the Chargers are going to be playing later on. Or they may actually already be started right now while I'm filming. But hopefully they win for Darius, because he ran after the last week's performance by Pittsburgh. But the other big story that was out there, and Pat and Ian did a video on it, Tony from Geek Getaway also did a live stream reading it, was this article that came out by Heiss Online. It's a German a German website or magazine or something does gaming stuff, or I don't know exactly what all they do. I don't even know. I didn't look into them that much. But they came out with an article about the Intellivision Amico, which is not flattering in any way. So it's like you get that article, and then immediately you get this battle tanks shit. It's just like taking fucking L's over and over and over again, guys. Like I feel bad for y'all. I do and I don't, because it's like everything that's coming Tommy's way, he deserves, because of the way that he acts, and he can't accept any responsibility for a mistake. Like, how stupid do you think people are that they're going to just believe, and there's no way to, like, find out your lies? Like, maybe 20, 30 years ago, when the internet was, people weren't as good at finding shit out, or before the internet was really a big thing, like, yeah, you could get away with your shit, man, but in this day and age, everybody is on to you. Instantly, they can find out what the fuck is going on. So it's just bad. So this article came out, and it's really negative about the controllers, which we've all been saying, and that's the whole thing. All the fucking cult members say, you gotta get the controller in your hand. You gotta get the controller in your hand. Well, apparently, according to these people, who are not fucking biased in any way that I can tell, that actually played the game, that aren't invested in the company, that aren't for some reason just totally delusional and just need this Amico in their lives, and it's like I always go back to politics. Like, you can't even, like, everything that's fucking going on in politics, like with this Rittenhouse trial, like, two different sides. You can look at the footage, and one side can totally say it's self-defense. The other side can just sit there and say that it's whatever the fuck they're saying, that the guy should have basically laid there and taken and died from the attacks. You're looking at the same thing, and you just see totally something different. Like, your mind is just not operating correctly. These cult members, that they just are so caught up in this that they need to be right, and they're just gonna ride this thing into the fucking death, man. This is gonna be the deaths of their channels. But, I don't know if they've listened to that podcast. It's got to be kind of humiliating hearing from people outside of us, just these local haters, little haters, that we don't have a whole lot of fucking subscribers, just to keep hearing this shit coming from outside and mocking them. But this article, it's somebody that's not caught up in this, and they don't have a horse in the race, so they're saying it like it is. And I'm just going to read off the different things that came from this article, and just tell me if it doesn't sound like shit that we would say. So first off, the controller is not ergonomic in the hand, which I've heard pretty sure I heard Saggy Melon say that it felt comfortable in your hand, but these people are saying it's not. To me, it doesn't look like it is. It's just a fucking round thing, like you're holding your phone, and like mobile games they don't feel great playing. I mean, it's okay when you're in an airport or waiting for the doctor in a doctor's office or the waiting room. Like, sure, like, you can deal with it, but it doesn't feel great in your hand. Not like a nice, Xbox or PlayStation controller, or the fucking Super Nintendo controller. How they feel good in your hand. So they said that. Then they also were talking about how some of the stuff is confusing. Like in the Precious game menus and stuff, which I'm guessing is the UI, which we still don't get to see. In the game menus, it was often unclear whether it was necessary to press one of the buttons or to operate the touchscreen. There was no standardized rules for navigation, and for several titles, it took a few minutes for all players to successfully dial into the game. And when I read that, it was instantly thinking about, so this is supposed to be for fucking grandma. And these people, just regular normal guys that probably deal with this kind of shit a lot, they were having problems getting into the game. Like, how the fuck is grandma going to get into the game? Like, there's no standardized, or like whatever, like you hit a button or you hit the touch screen. Is that what they're saying? Like, that is so fucking amateurish. They said also that the games also lacked a uniform control concept. Some used the disc to move, like others were using the touch screen. Like, how is that supposed to be good for grandma? How is that supposed to be good for a non-gamer? If it's not, it should literally be as simple as like the fucking Nintendo, the original Nintendo fucking controller. Like you have a couple buttons and a D-pad that's so obvious. And the games, all the best games did the same thing, where it was you like did B to fire and A to jump. Like the games that were always fucking wrong were when it was reversed, and you knew those games were shit. And apparently that's how like all your games are. They're just confusing, and there's not like a normal way to play them. Like it varies. They said every game is a little surprise bag. Sometimes the touchscreen shows your lives. Sometimes it's the central control element, and sometimes it's just decoration. So again, it's confusing. This is supposed to be a simple fucking console for people that are non-gamers, which is such a dumb idea. Selling a gaming console to non-gamers. And it's confusing. First interruption.
Oh, you do.
I'm recording. Yeah.
Oh,
Go through the other way.
Yeah, I'll go the other way.
Alright, thanks, buddy. I'm hogging up the room. But yeah, like how is that supposed to be good for people when there's no continuity, there's no uniform way of playing this, when it's just all different? Like grandma's gonna be like, do I use the touch screen now? No, grandma, you have to turn the dial this time. And then it's like, do I hit this button again on the top to fire? No, grandma, you have to hit the fucking touch screen. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's just gonna cause more problems than it's gonna cause. It's supposed to bring families together, but you're gonna spend half the fucking time explaining to a non-gamer how to play a fucking game. And they're just gonna be turned, this is why I don't play games, because they're confusing. So you're literally just gonna alienate your market immediately. That's where it comes, like, there's not somebody thinking clearly at the top. Like that would, like Nintendo or whatever, like or Microsoft, or they would always have like, or good people that know what they're doing would make this in a way that it's simple to pick up and use and play, and that's what this is supposed to be, and it's obviously not. It said the gyroscope is used rarely. It would have been great in a skiing game, yeah, like I thought that's how the skiing thing would be, like you're tilting it. But no, they don't even do that. It's what an obvious thing that would be to do, for a game like that, for skiing or something, like, or a driving game. Like, wouldn't that be a lot more fun? They said it's barely used. Why even fucking have it then? And then of course Hans Ippich is saying, "Whoa, they're going to be improving things." Blah blah blah. Always damage control this company. Always in fucking damage control mode. We're going to be improving it. Oh, don't worry, that's going to be fixed in an update patch. Like, no, dude, this is your fucking game. This is your system. Own it. And people, obviously, that aren't haters are seeing this shit and know it's dumb. Then they said the Amico controller can, this is damning right here, the Amico controller can do pretty much everything, but none of it exceptionally well. The touchscreens are not as precise as a modern cell phone, and the gyroscopes are jittery. Like, oh my god, I hate games trying to play like when your fucking gyroscope doesn't operate or gets stuck and you're like trying to turn it, like, or even like it makes me think about like when your phone and when you're trying to flip it into widescreen mode when you're watching YouTube and you get frustrated because you're like shaking it because it won't. Like, that's what I see that this thing is gonna be. The controllers are just gonna be shit and you're trying to shake it. How frustrating. They also said the buttons were spongy. Ugh, I can't stand that. That's that's the idea of like this cheap fucking controller that you would get packed in with like a cheap system. Just the idea of these spongy buttons that don't have like I like good clicky buttons. I think everybody likes good clicky buttons. And just the thought of a spongy button is such a turnoff. another knock against it. They said they should have had a single gimmick, like the Playdate's crank. Yeah, that little thing on the Playdate, the little handheld thing that has the crank that can be used. Like that's a single gimmick, and the rest is just simple games. Like that makes sense. They said that the controller is half baked and lacks clear vision. And that's the thing where it goes back to Tommy. It lacks clear vision. This whole thing lacks clear vision. It's just like in his mind he's thinking, touchscreen, dial, gyroscope. You can do the knob like you get 64 different directions. We're gonna have lights, LED lights. The games are gonna be cheap. It's just all this shit. You're just throwing things out there. Like you needed just one thing. Like the dial would have been fine if you had the dial, but the fact that there's a dumbass touchscreen that is unnecessary just confuses the whole thing. And that's where it lacks clear vision because there's not somebody smart in charge. And then this right here, that other part was damning about the controller, but this next part is so satisfying to hear. Like I've said this before, because we've been saying these things, yet we're haters. This is so satisfying to hear. The Intellivision can't avoid the comparison with the hardly more expensive Nintendo. Yeah, like $50. The Nintendo Switch. It is simply superior to the Amico in many respects, such as game selection, hardware, and range of functions. That literally sounds like all areas, but there it is again. It's like, why would you not? I said all along, like, for fucking grandma getting conned into an Amico, she could have bought a Nintendo Switch for the kids to play, and she could have easily played these games with them. It's just exactly what we've all been saying all along. The Nintendo is so much better, and it's like this thing that, like, Tommy just has something against Nintendo, and it had to do with, I've heard, like, people said that he claims, he was like involved in Metroid Prime, but then there's people that are saying that he really only used some of his sound effects for the trailer that they did for Metroid Prime. And apparently, was it Miyamoto himself or somebody fucking said that don't worry, these aren't going to be the sounds. These are not of quality that are going to be for Nintendo. And those were the shit that Tommy made. Like the sounds were too bad for Nintendo to use. Like that must have been like a tough thing for him to swallow. That it's almost like he's had it out for Nintendo. That this was his big thing. He thinks he's gonna take fucking Nintendo out, being the family console. And dude, Nintendo has been around since the fucking 1800s. They're not going anywhere. When you think video games, you think Nintendo, and they're not going anywhere. The Amico is just going to fucking come and go. But that's pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I've been rambling. Go check out Rambling, man. I've been rambling for a while here, and I'm ready to sit back and relax and watch this football game. Maybe tomorrow. I'm thinking I might try to play a game or something. Film that. Let's do something else here. But I'm always dunking on the Amico because this is just you guys are making it too fucking easy, man. Like this is just like Canadian Gamer always says, low hanging fruit. Like this is fucking low hanging fruit, man. You guys make it too fucking easy. And go vote in Darius's. Go check out his one video where it's the final vote. I don't think he's done. He hasn't done the final yet. But if it's, I don't think he has. But go vote for Tommy Tallarico versus Beat 'em Ups because I want Tommy to win. I think Tommy needs to win, especially after this shit. Like if you voted for Beat 'em Ups, I think you've got to really strongly consider going back and editing and changing your vote to Tommy Tallarico because he's a literal fucking liar, a scammer. Like he's lying to his people. Like saying he put the video up, took it down, and then put it back up, and then claimed with the new disclaimer, and then claimed it was. Like, how fucking shady. I know you guys have made a good argument for Beat 'em Ups being a piece of shit, but has he done anything that fucking shady? Like, this is just, like, Tommy's got to win that tournament, I think. But, yeah, so maybe I'm gonna try to maybe play a game tomorrow. Do something else besides the Amico because fuck, this story just makes you sick. But I'm so obsessed with and I just can't get enough. It's too satisfying. Go check out that podcast. Like I said, I'll put the name up there of what it was and about they're talking about the Amico All Access podcast. It sounded like it was going to be a funny listen. Anyways, guys, I hope all of you have a great week. Thanks for watching. Take care.